So now that we have leads going round robin to our two users after they're being initially created under user, I wanted to introduce a new idea called a spigot stamp. A spigot stamp is a text field that we will add to the lead that will track the history of all the spigots that interacted with this record. So when we start to have a complex set of spigots, we'll want to see things like, has this lead already passed through a spigot? Is this lead maybe being acted on by the spigot more than once and we didn't realize that? Or maybe it didn't get acted when we thought it did. Maybe it was manually assigned and it bypassed the spigot somehow. We can also use the spigot stamp to prevent um, a record from entering a spigot again by, in the input SOQL query, just saying that it can't contain the stamp that we're setting in this spigot. So let me show you exactly what I mean. Now, I'm not crazy about adding a bunch of fields to your standard objects, but I think that adding this one field is going to be well worth it. I'm going to make it a 255 character text field. And keep in mind that this field only needs to be visible to admins. Well, really only to the user that's running spigots. So we don't have to give it to anyone else. Let me add it into our report. Okay. And of course, it's null to begin here. And I'm going to add it to each of our spigots. The spigot stamp is basically a unique set of characters for every spigot, just for the purpose of reporting to see and audit which spigots this record has passed through. So I'm going to add it to all three. Go into the action and add it here. So I'm going to say and I'm going to give it, in this case, like something that's short but also unique. So I'm going to say CL for create lead. And I am going to, within this kind of assignment block, put two other keys and values. So I'm going to set a mode, and I'm going to set it to append write. So what that means is that every time that this spigot writes to the field spigot stamp, it isn't going to overwrite like usual or like default. It's going to take whatever is there and add the new value to the right. And then, if needed, it will truncate the value from the left. So it will cut off maybe some characters from the left if needed. And I'm also going to add a delimiter. Now, I personally like semicolon, but it should just be some value that doesn't appear in any of the values that you're setting in the spigot stamps. I'm also going to just copy this so I can easily put something similar in the other spigots. So I'm going to call this one AL, or assign lead. And in delete, we actually aren't able to update fields. All we do is delete based on ID, so I can't set a spigot stamp here. Okay, so what we're seeing now is every time this runs, two leads are created, and both of those leads are being assigned because it tries to pull three. So let me bump this up so that we're actually making, well, let me just assign only one lead at a time. Okay, perfect. So what we can see now is that two leads got created. One already got pulled in to the assignment, and one didn't get pulled in yet. And the next time it runs, we're going to see something similar happen. So the ones that have been assigned, you see that they have two Spigot stamps. They have create lead and then assign lead, and in that order. Where the ones that haven't passed through the assign lead just have this. Now, if we wanted to make sure that we weren't assigning these leads twice, we could do something um, like this. We could basically go into our lead assignment spigot, into the input, and we could say something like, and spigot stamp not like this, including the delimiters, or is it and not spigot stamp like? We'd have to run this in a SOQL query verifier, but basically this will make sure that once a lead has passed through, it's not going to pass through again unless we clear that field later, which we may or may not want, depending on the overall logic we're going for. So these spigot stamps are really just your friend because if things are getting complex, they're going to help you understand what is and isn't working. So as this continues to run, we should see that all the oldest leads are still getting deleted. Newest leads are now getting spigot stamps. So I expect to see that these two begin to go further down the report as it propagates more and more leads having a spigot stamp.